best? That's your best? I'm a sensitive guy. I have a lot of pride. You know, that kind of hurt my feelings. I thought, wait a minute. I've never been governor of New Jersey. I've never lived in New Jersey. But look, give Donald a break. He's new at this. You know, 50 states, and the governor of one state isn't the governor of the other state, and New Jersey's in the north, and Virginia's a little bit in the... This is all new stuff. I bet he just hadn't got to that in the briefing book yet. So you got to give him a break. Got to give him a break. Here's why we've got to elect Hillary Clinton. It's basically the economy, it's our role in the world, and it's character. On the economy, I like to boil things down and make it simple. I used to try to do this when I was trying jury cases. You just want to boil it down and make it. I know there was going to be 100% here. We're at Huguenot High School. I mean, there was going to be a 100% correct answer to that question because we got a bunch of smart people here. We want a you're hired president. We don't want a you're fired president. And I predict that when this campaign is over and everybody's forgot everything about the Donald Trump campaign, the one thing they will remember about Donald Trump is you're fired, right? You're fired. Now, Hillary Clinton is a you're hired person. She's got a great 5-point plan for how we're going to get the economy rolling. It starts with the biggest jobs program since World War II in the first 100 days of the administration. Infrastructure, manufacturing, wages. We're going to do all we can. Research. We're going to do all we can to create jobs, to create higher paying jobs, and to make sure that the growth we have in this country is not just confined to a few at the top or a few states or a few regions, but that it's shared by all. That has to be the most important task of the administration. She's going to do great things for American workers, from minimum wage. I mean, it hadn't gone up for 8 years. You can work full time now for minimum wage, and with a child, you'll be below the poverty level, right? When we look people in the eye and say, you got to work hard in your life. What does it say about our values that we say that to people? But then we have policies where if you work full-time with a dependent for minimum wage, you're under the poverty level. It says that we're kind of lying to them. If we thought work was important, we would value work. And so we've got to raise the minimum wage, and we've got to have pay equity for women to show that we value work. Education. Hillary Clinton's got an education plan that starts with a favorite of mine, a favorite of Ann's, high-quality pre-K, early childhood education. I heard in a church once, it's easier to build a child than to repair an adult, right? It's easier to build a child than repair an adult. So let's invest in early childhood education. That's what we need to do. And then the cost of college. I mean, I see so many young people, but I also see the parents and grandparents of young people who are grappling with this. Hillary Clinton has a goal. She says, in this country, the greatest country on earth, we ought to be able to get to debt-free college. Debt-free college, right? So that you're not crushed by debt, and also so that those with debt can find ways to refinance it and bring it down. What does it say that Donald Trump can bankrupt debts, but students can't refinance student loan debt? I mean, you can reorganize a loan for a yacht. You can reorganize a loan for a vacation home, but you can't reorganize a student loan debt. It makes no sense. And so that's absolutely key. We've got to have, I mentioned this, but I want to come back to it. One of the fastest things we could do, one of the fastest things we could do to boost the economy is equal pay for equal work, equal pay for women. This is an issue. It's an issue of fundamental fairness, but it's also an economic issue because, hey, look, I'm a man, but I got a working wife and I got a working daughter, and so many of you have working sisters and working grandparents, and and working siblings and working cousins. This is a basic family economics issue, and that's something that's so important we do. So Hillary's economic plan is good as could be. In fact, Moody's Analytics, which is completely nonpartisan, just came out and said, if you took the economic plan that you can find at HillaryClinton.com and you just enact it like that, it would increase the number of jobs, 10 million jobs for the Hillary Clinton plan. And part of her plan is also for the economy, immigration reform. I mean, immigration reform is so important, and if we do it right, what a boost for our economy, right? What a boost for our economy. Clean energy, right? Si se puede, si se puede. We can do it, we can do it, we can do it. Clean energy America is already just leading the way, but let's just put our foot on the gas and go even farther to save the planet and use American innovation to create jobs at the same time. How about that? How about that? Now, that same Moody's Analytics says, go to the Trump plan. If you put it in place just as is, it would lead America into a recession that would cost us 2.5 million jobs. The difference between the plan is 12.5 million jobs. Do we grow by 10 or do we lose by 2.5? That's the difference between the Clinton plan and the Trump empty promises. Now, you know, like, you actually can't really what's behind the door. He says, we're going to be rich, believe me. We're going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it, believe me. We're going to beat ISIS so fast, believe me. There's nothing funny in my tax returns, believe me. You know? I mean, why would one person believe Donald Trump? Why would one person believe him? Now, because there's a track record. People have believed him, and they've gotten stiff, and they've gotten hurt. When he's wanted to build things like a casino in Atlantic City, and all the contractors were so proud to work on it, and they did all the work and installed the marble and glass and hung the drywall and poured the concrete, they believed him. And the building got built, and Trump started operating it, and they didn't get paid. Overwhelmingly, they lost, and some of their businesses went bankrupt. They didn't get paid. There's a powerful story of an architect who designed a golf course clubhouse. It was a signature project, and Trump wouldn't pay him a penny. And then he came and said, wait, I did the work for you, and you got the building. Yeah, I got the building, and we're using it now. Well, you got to pay me. I'm not paying you. Well, I'll sue you. If you sue me, you'll win, but we'll make you spend so much money to sue me. The check you end up getting is going to be just a fraction of the check you're having to pay your own lawyers. So take a hike. This is the way he treats people. Retirees gave him money to build him condos in Florida. He got the money. He didn't build the condos, and they ended up losing tens of thousands of dollars, all because they believed Donald Trump. And a bunch of students, including veterans who wanted to learn something, saw these ads about Trump University, and they paid thousands of dollars, and they ended up with a certificate that wasn't worth the paper it was printed on, all because they believed Donald Trump. Is there anybody in this place who believes Donald Trump? We are too great a nation. We are too great a nation to put it in the hands of a slick-talking, empty-promising, self-promoting, one-man wrecking crew. We just can't do it. We just can't do it. We just can't do it. Second, leadership in the world. Question 2, do you want a bridge builder or do you want a trash talker? All right, you're 2 for 2. I mean, Hillary Clinton is a bridge builder. She was our chief diplomat. When President Obama said, I want to revitalize American diplomacy after 8 years of an administration before that didn't care about diplomacy, He said, I got to pick somebody to be Secretary of State who can walk into any room in the world and have not only the gravitas of coming as the U.S. Secretary of State, but be a personality that people know and respect. And he said, to restore American diplomacy, I want to pick Hillary Clinton. Hasn't it been great to have a President Obama who cares about diplomacy? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Hillary's a bridge builder with alliances and strengths, and she knows the value of alliances. She knows we're stronger if we have alliances. You're not strong if you just stand out there by yourself. You're stronger with alliances, and she gets that. And that's one of the reasons we should elect her. Now, Donald Trump, no bridge builder, folks. He's a trash talker. He trash talks allies. He trash talks foreign leaders. He trash talks people with disabilities. He trash talks women and says offensive things about them. He trash talks fellow Republicans. I mean, the thing that has amazed me is the depth of his trash talking of Latinos, saying that all Mexicans are rapists and going after, Latino immigrants. But it's not just about the immigrant who's here for one day. A Latina governor, Republican governor of New Mexico, because she wasn't wild about his candidacy, he blasted her. A federal judge from Indiana who had proud Mexican-American heritage after a life of service as a federal prosecutor and then as a judge, Trump trash talks that guy because his parents were of Mexican origin. We don't need it. And look, now we've seen the lowest of the low. I mean, did anybody watch the Kaine family speak at the convention last week? Did you see that? Did you see that? This family, proud Virginians, right? They're us. They're us. They're proud Virginians. They live in Charlottesville. Their son went to the University of Virginia and went through ROTC there and volunteered to be in the military before 9/11. And then in a split second, when he thought a suicide bomber was coming toward his colleagues, he got in the way, and he was right. And he lost his life, but he saved everybody else's life. And he's buried in Virginia too, in Arlington National Cemetery, and on his gravestone is the crescent to emphasize the fact that his family is of Muslim faith. And Donald Trump has the temerity to say during the last 15 years. Many. So overwrought emotionally, even 12 years after her son died, that she said, I can't stand in front of a microphone and say anything. And, Donald kind of trashes her for that. I mean, is there no limit to which this guy will descend? Trashing the family of a war hero, trashing John McCain for being a POW, saying the American military is a disaster when 2 million young American men and women volunteer in a time of war to try to help their country, and Trump goes around saying there's a disaster, and he wants to be commander-in-chief? He wants to be commander-in-chief? So we don't need a trash talker. We don't need a trash talker. The last one, and then I'll conclude, is this, and it's about character. This is a third question. Do you want a kids and families first president or a me first president? Kids and family first. And that's what it boils down to. Hillary Clinton is kids and families first. A lot of the Cleveland Convention. Anybody watch the Cleveland Convention? Even a little bit of it? All right. Compared to the Democratic Convention, upbeat, positive, patriotic, that Cleveland Convention, I mean, it looked like, Batman 5 with Gotham City, it was, oh my gosh, it was such a kind of a twisted view of everything. And somebody said, boy, the Republicans are really painting a pessimistic and twisted view of the United States. I said, folks, that was no view of the United States. That was a guided tour through the mind of Donald Trump, and that is a very scary place to be. It's a very scary place to be. Take it from me. He may have grabbed the mantle of the Republican Party, but I know a lot of Republicans like Ann's dad, who I might disagree with, but they're optimistic and positive people about this country. They're not trash talking the United States all the time like Donald Trump does. He says, make America first. Donald Trump's about blame America first, and I ain't into the blame America first, folks, right? I'm not into it. I'm not into it. Hillary, but they talked a lot about her character. That's what they wanted to talk about. So let me tell you about Hillary Clinton's character. Here's a tip. I've been in this line of work for 22 years in public life. If you want to know something about the character of somebody in public life, look to see if they have a passion that showed up long before they were in politics. And then ask, have they kept that passion going rock solid through good times or bad, through victories and losses, through hell or high water, whether they're in office or whether they're out of office? Ask that question. Ask that question. Hillary Clinton has that passion. She's demonstrated her character. Dwight, she got turned on by a youth minister, a Methodist youth minister, when she was a teenager in the suburbs of Chicago, a guy named Don Jones, who took her to see MLK and then told her about the plight of migrant workers when she was a teen. And she realized that there was a world outside of the suburb that she lived, and it was like her horizons opened up, and she decided, I want to battle for kids and families. And so whether it was with the Children's Legal Defense Fund, or as First Lady of Arkansas with maternal health and children's health programs, First Lady in the United States. It's my favorite Hillary Clinton story, and I tell it better than she does because she won't brag on herself like she ought to. Can I brag on her just for a second about something? Can I brag on her? Okay, look. When people think of Hillary Clinton as First Lady, they tend to think of one thing. She was the point person leading the effort to promote a universal health care system. And remember, the other guys trashed it, called it Hillary Care. They trashed it just like they call it Obamacare now, after they got their head handed to them, and we did something really good for tens of millions of people, right? Tens of millions of people. But they beat Hillary Clinton. They beat her back in the 1990s. We know that story. But here's where the character comes in. Here's where it comes in. They lost. It was tough. The ads that were running against them, trashing them, they lost. But did Hillary Clinton go away? Did Hillary Clinton say, okay, let's move on to another issue? No, she pulled the team together, legislators and others, and said, okay, we couldn't get what we wanted. We couldn't get everything we wanted, and that's a shame. But can we figure out a way to get a health care program passed to give 8 million American children health insurance for the first time in their lives? And they did. And they did. You want to know something about character? Character is when you get knocked on your back trying something you care about and you don't give up and you get right back up and you keep on plugging and you don't get everything you want, but you do something good. I mean, 8 million children? 8 million is the population of Virginia. It's the same size as our state's population. That many kids have had health insurance. And it not only means that they have health insurance against illnesses or injuries, it also means that their parents can go to bed every night and not have that little voice in their ear that says, hey, what's going to happen if my kid gets in an auto accident? What's going to happen if my kid gets sick? Because even when you're healthy, if you don't have health insurance, it's going to be a source of anxiety for you and for your parents. And because Hillary Clinton has character and she's got a passion, she stood up and fought to get something good even after she took a loss. That's character. That's character. And then she did the same thing. She had been in the Senate from New York for a year after the attack on 9/11, and the Bush administration came in to do a bunch of things for defense, but not to do anything for the families of the first responders in Virginia and in New York that got hurt. And Hillary Clinton said, I'm fighting for health care for these people. I mean, we say they're heroes. We go to services for them. Many of them died. Now they're getting sick. I'm going to make sure that they get health care. And she battled and got that done. This is what she does. She's got that passion that she showed early in life, and she's not giving up on it. And that's why so many of the plans, if you go on HillaryClinton.com, are about just this thing, fighting for families and kids, because if families and kids are doing well, as Ann said, Dana Bedden said earlier, if our kids are doing well, if our families are doing well, then everybody's going to do well. We feel that very strongly. Now, last point is this. Donald Trump's had a passion too. Donald Trump has had a passion too. And it showed up long before he decided to run for office. And I will say this about him. He's been completely consistent in this particular passion that he has. He's very focused on this particular passion. Donald Trump's passion is Donald Trump. That's the only passion he has. That's the only passion he has. And so that's why I'm so proud to be supporting Hillary. Look, she's a you're hired president. Trump would be a you're fired president. She's a bridge builder, and our nation needs him in a tough and divided time. God, we have so many challenges. We've got challenges, and none of the challenges that we have are going to be solved by being more divided, by doing more name calling, by doing more fingerprinting. They're all going to get worse. We know that in Virginia. I mean, if anybody knows it, we know it, because one of the reasons we went in the tank was because we decided to divide against one another. And one of the reasons that we're coming out and going back onto the main stage in the nation and leading again is we've decided to be that Commonwealth we always said we would be and bring everybody together around the table. And that's the kind of president that Hillary Clinton is going to be. So I just want to say this.